She confided in my business associate, suggesting we oust him from the directorate and seize his equity. I responded with a curt, "Best of luck." Then I summoned the urgent assembly and unveiled the quiet stakeholder who commanded 51% of the ballots, my granddad. Her scripted dismissal rant got cut short. "Me 34, guy. My enterprise, which I crafted from a mere doodle in my journal, is my everything. My intended spouse, Isabella, 36, was meant to be my lifelong companion. She doubled as my chief operating officer. I believed we formed the ideal duo. I'm the visionary, the artist. She's the figures, the tactics, the predator. We'd been betrothed for half a year, coupled for 2 full ones. She'd served as COO for 3. Our firm, Lumina Creations, crafts premium sleek furnishings. It's my fervor. It's erected on my reputation and my lineage's legacy. The organizational framework seemed straightforward, or so I assumed. I'm the originator and chief executive. I possess 24% of the equity. Gideon, our sales director and my collaborator, owns 25%. And a hushed stakeholder, an LLC that injected the starting $2 million in startup funds, grips 51%. This 51% entity has never cast a ballot, never shown up to a session, never dispatched a message. They're essentially a phantom, a wealthy specter. Gideon and I constituted the directorate, or at least that's what I figured. Last week I labored into the evening. My workspace adjoins Isabella's. We share a transparent partition, but I typically wear my earpieces drafting. At about 8 in the evening, I removed them to fetch some hydration. I caught her tone. She had the line on loudspeaker. "It's merely stagnant capital, Guide. It's an obsolete investment group from a decade back. They no longer operate. The functioning tally is solely you and Theo, and you've got 25%. He possesses 24. A hesitation. I went rigid. Gideon's timbre faint through the device. "So what are you implying? You want me to urge him to retire?" Isabella chuckled, that crisp, vivid chuckle I always deemed so vibrant. It rang altered now. Fragile. "No, Guide, you don't suggest, you dictate. We convene an immediate directorate session. You, as the dominant equity holder, propose a motion of distrust. You remove him. I assume temporary chief executive role. And Thea, whatever becomes of his stake? Irrelevant. We thin it out. We approve fresh equity issuance to us. Yours for your allegiance, mine for my command. We'll tender him a repurchase for scraps. It's straightforward. He's an artist. Theo's no battler. He'll simply depart." I remained rooted. Then my veins seemed filled with chilled liquid. This was my betrothed, my ally, and regarding, the pair of you. Gideon inquired somewhat clumsily. "That's concluded for months, Guide. I'm merely biding the optimal moment. This is that instant. Let's expel him from the directorate and claim his stake. It's time we received the compensation we truly merit." I didn't rap. I merely swung open the adjoining portal. She didn't flinch. She gradually pivoted in her seat, spotted me, and terminated the call. Her expression wasn't remorseful. It was irritated at the interruption. "You weren't meant to overhear that," she remarked, as though I'd stumbled upon her griping about the refreshments. "Appears so," I uttered. My tone was vacant. A takeover, amusing, within my own domain. She rose, adjusting her attire. The $5,000 ensemble I'd praised her for that very morning. "Don't overreact, Theo. It's merely commerce. You're impeding our progress. Your concepts are outdated. You're no aggressor." "I am, and Gideon, he's an aggressor as well these days. Gideon envisions tomorrow. You're mired in yesterday. It's finalized." I regarded her, the lady I'd proposed to, the lady I'd entrusted with my vital endeavor. "Best of luck," I stated. I retreated to my workspace. I caught her derisive huff trailing me. She deemed me feeble. She deemed me no contender. I settled at my station. My fingers trembled, not from dread. From an fury so frigid it bordered on serenity, I launched my correspondence to Gideon, Isabella, header, urgent directorate session, content. As per the regulations, an urgent directorate session is scheduled for tomorrow, 2 p.m. Assembly Hall A, attend. I dispatched it. The third recipient, the one for the 51% specter. It routes directly to my granddad's private tablet. Update 1. It's elapsed 24 hours, the most grueling 24 hours imaginable. I'm presently fueled by resentment and roughly 6 fluid ounces of chilled brew. The vibe in the workplace today was charged, poisonous. Isabella and Gideon believe they've cornered me. They view my urgent session dispatch as a desperate gambit, a final plea. They're utterly, profoundly mistaken. The arrogance has been staggering. Isabella strode in this morning, not to her quarters, but to mine. I was at my station, drafting, or feigning it. My grip quivered excessively. She merely lingered in the entryway. Theo, let's avoid tarnishing this tomorrow, she proposed. I'm not the tarnisher, Isabella. You initiated that. Face facts. You're dismissed. Gideon and I control the ballots. This is mere procedure. If you step down now, we might negotiate a payout. A modest one, for your benefit. For my benefit? Impressive. Indeed, or else we terminate you on grounds. Grounds for what? Severe mishandling, dated concepts. Profit shortfalls in your latest collections. She had an entire roster. She'd been scheming this for months. I'll encounter you at 2 p.m., Isabella. She smirked. Not a grin, a smirk. Very well, proceed as you wish. Then the underhanded ploy commenced. Roughly an hour prior, I attempted to access our firm's ledgers to output the genuine profit and loss statements, which indicate my recent collections exceed targets by 30%. Entry barred. She'd barred me. The chief operating officer had barred the chief executive from his own firm's ledgers. I approached her quarters. She was on the line, chuckling. She noticed me, raised a digit, and continued conversing. I simply loitered, what she uttered eventually concluding, "You barred me from the ledgers. Oh, likely a technical hiccup. Spare your artistic mind the worry, Theo. I'll deliver the figures at the session, the authentic figures." She intended to fabricate them. She planned to showcase doctored data to validate dismissing me on grounds. This is the lady to whom I offered a band. I sensed an abrupt, piercing pang of not sorrow, merely deep disillusionment. I truly excel at selections. Then the ultimate token, the relic. In my quarters, there's a seat. It's the model for our whole Orion series. Its designation Alpha 01. It's the initial seat I assembled manually. The one my granddad occupied when he consented to bankroll this entire pursuit. It's beyond firm property. It's the essence of the firm. I received a dispatch from Isabella, not a message. A dispatch to Cease and Gideon and her aide. Header. Workspace Relocation Unit. In light of the executive shift, I shall relocate to the chief executive's quarters tomorrow. Kindly relocate the Orion seat, designation 1, to my quarters by day's close. It represents the firm's premier possession and merits custody by the provisional chief executive. She craved it as a prize. She yearned to perch in my granddad's seat while she steered my firm toward ruin. I responded to all. All firm possessions and executive roles shall be ratified at the 2 p.m. session. Refrain from contacting the seat. Gideon has been spectral all day, confined in his quarters. He avoids my gaze. He recognizes his actions are sleazy, but Isabella has persuaded him of impending wealth. He's partially accurate. I received a message from my granddad Eli, 82, this morning. Orion, 2 p.m. I'll attend. Don a necktie. You resemble a vagrant. I'm donning a necktie. Update 2. It's 3 p.m. I'm returned to my quarters. My fingers still quiver, but now it's from exhilaration. Good heavens, I must document this. The session, 2 p.m. I enter Assembly Hall A. Isabella occupies the table's head already. My position. Gideon sits to her right, appearing ashen, restless. He evades contact. Isabella has a pile of dossiers before her, her ledgers. Theo, pleased you arrived, she intones all contrived cheer. It's my session, I declare, claiming a lateral perch. It was your session, but as provisional dominant equity holder, Gideon yields the podium to me. As chief operating officer, I'll conduct this. I merely inclined my head. Fine, let's commence. Excellent, she states. She unveils a dossier. The outline is basic. Initially, an assessment of the firm's declining output under your command. She begins perusing sheets. As evident, the Orion series has dropped 40% period to period. Your fresh initiatives are vastly exceeding expenditures. We're essentially bankrupt. That's inaccurate, I stated. I reviewed the figures yesterday evening. You examined erroneous figures, she retorted sharply. These constitute the true figures leading to point 2, a motion of distrust in you as chief executive. Gideon moistens his lips. He regards his palms. Yes, Theo, buddy, I cast. No trust. Splendid, Isabella beams. That's 25%. I as provisional chief executive likewise. You lack a ballot, Isabella, I noted softly. You're no equity holder, your staff. Her visage stiffens. It matters not. Gideon commands 25%. You command 24%. He holds the prevailing directorate portion. The motion succeeds. So, as I elaborated as your chief executive, you're halted. The timbre wasn't mine. The assembly hall portal swung open. Instrode my granddad, Orion. He's 82. He ambles with a bespoke staff. It's genuinely a defective limb from one of my trial tables. He's clad in a 3-part ensemble that likely exceeds my vehicle's worth. Isabella and Gideon merely gape. Pardon me, Isabella articulates, her tone laced with vexation. Who might you be? This is a private directorate session. My granddad merely grins. It's no pleasant grin, I'm Orion, he declares, advancing leisurely to the table. And you, miss, are in my seat. He didn't intend my seat. He meant his seat. The 51% seat. Isabella's countenance is a veil of bewilderment. I don't recognize you. Guards, they recognize me, Orion stated. He regarded me. Theo, you convened this session, yet you haven't presented me. I rose. Isabella, Gideon, permit me to present the principal of Venture Guardian, LLC, my granddad, Orion. He possesses 51% of this firm. Gideon paled. I mean paled like encountering a apparition and impending nausea pale. Isabella, she merely malfunctioned. That's impossible. That's an inactive investment entity. Orion at last attains the table. Inactive. Madam, I embody numerous traits, but inactivity isn't one. I bankrolled this firm, my funds, my stipulations. And observe, he noted, prodding the foundational charter with his staff. I truly desire folks would peruse the paperwork they endorse. Isabella stammered. This constitutes a clash of interests. It's favoritism. It's unlawful. It's free enterprise, my dear, Orion remarked, drawing a perch. And you're correct on one count. It is a ballot. Theo, what's the proposal? Isabella attempted to reclaim authority. She ascended. Her timbre quavered yet boomed. No, this is my session. You're dismissed, Theo, for industrial intrigue, for admitting an unapproved individual. You're dismissed. Orion merely eyed her. You're halted, he uttered. It was so hushed, yet it silenced her abruptly. Theo, Orion addressed me. You possess 24%. I possess 51%. That's 75%. What's the ballot? I glanced at Gideon, who appeared on the verge of collapse. Then I glanced at Isabella. Her countenance was a tempest of sheer, unadulterated animosity. I propose, I declared, my timbre distinct, to excise Isabella's surname from the directorate and conclude her tenure on grounds forthwith for plot to deceive the firm, endeavored pilfering of holdings, and fabrication of ledger entries. I endorse, Orion stated, elevating his palm. All approving, I elevated mine, he did his. That's 75%. Proposal succeeds. Isabella, you're concluded. Your system entry was severed 10 minutes past. Guards await beyond. Isabella merely wilted. She didn't shriek. She didn't weep. She merely sagged. All the predator, all the aggressor simply vanished. She murmured at me. You viper. No, I stated, I'm merely no contender. Recall, I'm just an artist. Then I regarded Gideon. Gideon, you possess 25%. Care to cast against? Formalize it. Gideon perspired. He shifted from Isabella to Orion to me. He faltered. I cast I'm aligned with you, Theo. I've always aligned. She swayed me. She claimed you were dooming us. I was unaware. Isabella emitted a noise, a hybrid chortle, hybrid wail. You weakling, Gede, you were involved. You desired this. Guards, Orion directed, pressing a key on the assembly communicator. 2 security personnel we'd engaged at Orion's behest 2 days earlier entered. Kindly convey Miss Surname from the grounds. She mustn't contact her terminal. Her belongings shall be forwarded. She merely fixed on me as they gripped her elbows. You'll rue this, Theo. You'll steer this firm to collapse sans me. Time will tell, I stated. She and her dossiers were absent. The chamber hushed. It was solely me, Orion, and a profoundly ashen Gideon. Orion merely eyed him. Mr. Gideon's surname. You and I shall converse regarding your prospects or absence thereof. Final update. A month has passed. The debris has largely cleared. It's been substantial. The initial query everyone poses is, regarding Gideon, did I dismiss him? No. Orion advised, don't eliminate a serpent when you can neuter it and compel it to labor for you. Dismissal is simple. Compelling it to remain, that's retribution. We held a subsequent session, Orion, me, and Gideon. Gideon entered nearly prostrating. He'd unearthed the genuine ledger reports. He'd uncovered Isabella's counterfeit ones. He was appalled and profoundly apologetic. We disregarded it. Orion proffered a fresh agreement across the surface. This defines your fresh existence, lad, he declared. Here's the revised arrangement. Gideon retains his 25% revenue portion. He's still poised to amass considerable fortune provided I perform adequately. His 25% equity is now wholly non-balloting. He is excised from the directorate forthwith. He endorses a novel 5-year labor pact as sales director. Should he depart or face dismissal on grounds, such as, say, plotting against the chief executive, his 25% revenue portion is repurchased by the firm for the nominal sum of $1. He's ensnared. He wields no authority, no sway. He can't depart. He must merely linger, peddle my outdated concepts, and enrich me further. And he recognizes Orion, and I monitor every dispatch he issues. He endorsed it. He didn't even scan it. As for Isabella, she retained counsel, naturally. We obtained an enraged missive demanding $5 million for unjust dismissal, slander, and psychological harm from the shattered betrothal. Our attorney, Orion's authentic attorney, the one who devours roadside signage counsel for sustenance, dispatched a courteous 2-sheet reply. Sheet 1 was a halt and desist directive. Sheet 2 was a duplicate of testimony endorsed by Gideon, outlining all she schemed, encompassing the doctored figures. Gideon proved exceedingly amenable. It further enclosed a duplicate of the on-grounds provision in her pact, which she evidently never scanned. Her counsel fell utterly mute. We haven't detected a whisper since. Oh, yet Isabella, I haven't escaped unscathed. I obtained a message from an unfamiliar digit last week. You deem yourself so clever, you and that doddering ancient fool, you'll never match even half my ferocity. You'll doom that firm to oblivion in half a year. I devoted 3 years of my existence to you. I merely messaged back, your arithmetic rivals your morals in deficiency. Farewell, Isabella, I barred the digit, the band. I placed it on her vacant station precisely before guards packaged her effects. I'm certain she received it. The Orion seat, designation Alpha 01, it's in my granddad's library. He visited to oversee the relocation. He merely occupied it, eyed me, and inclined his head. Well done, he remarked. Now resume labor. These concepts are turning somewhat dated. He jested, I believe. The betrothal is terminated. The alliance is altered. I sense unburdened. The treachery was precise. It excised a segment of me I hadn't noticed was so tainted. It's no joyful conclusion. It's no mournful conclusion. It's merely a conclusion. The firm is fortified, my kin is fortified, and I'm liberated. Evidently, I am a contender after all.